Welcome back to the hood. It's your boy. You know who it is. It's come to my attention that the last episode was, kind of filler. But that's fine because y'all still messed with it. Or maybe you didn't. I don't know. But yeah, basically all that happened. We just went through the hero. What's it called? We went through the hero thing where they were basically all that happened is that most of the students, got sent to different hero associations. All these kids, they had different heroes that wanted to mentor them, and they had to pick who they wanted. All right. Sans Papyrus basically went with some no-named hero. What was his name? Native. I almost forgot that was who I sent them with. They went with Native to basically just keep an eye out for Ida in case anything sounded crazy. It ended up getting way worse than they thought it would with all the no moves that popped up. And Ida was getting jumped in the back alley with Native, right? And Papyrus and Sans, they was chilling. You feel me? They was out and about, right? They was protecting the citizens, right? My boy Papyrus out here running super fast, smacking Nomus in the face, saving the civilians in front of their faces, right? My boy Sans getting all the civilians out of danger, So Nomus run up on them, gaster blasters, you feel me? Got some bones up, blue bones, protect the himself. It's working. It worked good, My boys is out there, right? Bakugo is also out there, right? He was told to stay on the train, but he wasn't gonna stay on the train. He a hero, and not only is he a hero, he got to be the number one hero. And not only do he got to be the number one hero, he got one for all. So, my boy, he kind of he doing some more practice, right? He doing some more practice. What I am gonna say, I don't know if I said this last time, I forgot, but what I am gonna say is that One for All has basically activated his quirk awakening at the end of the series, which means that I'll probably have to give him a different one. Maybe. We'll see what happens. I might not. Who knows? I do like the idea of making these characters as strong as they physically could ever be. It obviously off of natural occurrence, right? Like I'm not just gonna sit there and be like, yeah, he's planetary because I said so. Yeah, like nah. Like I would if I if I said like Bakugo was strongest in the perceivable universe, it would be off some story events that I would have had to have implemented because obviously there ain't nothing that says that in the actual show. But that's besides the point. Appreciate y'all for being here again. Can't ever be mad at y'all for being here respectfully. And yeah, let me continue with the story, right? The story. That's what y'all here for. The story. And, I know the previous episodes is not as good, but we gonna get better every time. We gonna continue and get better. No remakes. Watch the whole show, please. But yeah. Right, staying out there, right? He got the knife down. He got the knife pointed, not the knife, the sword, whole katana pointed at Ida. Ida, he looking up, paralyzed. He ain't got nothing going for him. he about to get mutilated, respectfully. And that Stain, he try to plunge him down with the sword. Who pop up? My boy Stain got to react. He like, oh, he had to jump out the way. He heard something. He felt something. All of a sudden, laser blast and pop through. Dodge backwards and stuff instantaneously. But both Papyrus and Sans standing in front of Ida and Native. 2v1. Staying out here, he land. He looking menacing and stuff. He's like another couple of brats trying to get their revenge, huh? Or is there something else that you're here for? And, my boy Sans and Papyrus is there, my boy Papyrus is like, yeah. We won't allow you to do all you want, villain. And Sans out here. Yeah, we can't have you kill our mentor and class rep. That just wouldn't be good on us heroes. And my boy Papyrus, he prepared to fight. He got his fist up. He kind of like he ready for him, right? Sans still chilling, hands in his pockets and stuff. You feel me? That's just normal behavior for both of them though. And Stain looking at him like, so y'all are here to protect this child and this fake hero. And Native, he look up, he's like, boys, run. You've shown me the truth. The small amount of time you've been here, I've realized there's levels to this hero game. And it's better for you to see a future before me. Allow me to sacrifice myself for the three of you. And they both look at Native. Papyrus is like, sorry, Native. A real hero wouldn't stand by and allow the innocent to be murdered. He Sans turned back to Stain. And he like, whether or not he's a fake or real hero doesn't give you the right to kill him. And not only that, you also trying to kill this child behind us. So we should probably let's just drop the high horse activities and get you in cuffs. If you won't come willingly, as gaster blasters, pop up from behind. We'll clean you ourselves. You feel me? You pop the gaster blaster and we'll clean you ourselves. Because his name is Stain. My boy had to get some jokes off. Papyrus, look over to Sans, is like, Sans, did you say that because his name is all of a sudden, instantaneously, my boy Stain, he mentally was like, man, these might be some real heroes. I gotta respect it. Too bad I also gotta catch some hands. Do a knife at Papyrus, ran up trying to slash at Sans. Sans had to, he had to dodge real quick, right? He assuming Papyrus is gonna be fine. Papyrus had the reaction time. You feel me? My boy got grazed a little bit, right? My boy Papyrus then grabbed him. You feel me? Because he was trying to run right past him, throw him into the wall. Stain, he's slippery like that, so he got loose off of him. Jumped up, caught the knife, licked the blood of the little bit of graze that he got on Papyrus. Papyrus can't move no more. Sans, he taking defensive positions again, and he wondering real quick like what's going on with Papyrus because he ain't moved, he ain't reacted ever since he like he looking at the sky, right? Papyrus is like I can't move, Sans, Stain running at him. Still, right? He charging. He not giving them no chance to think. You feel me? Because it's 2v1. Stain felt like, he had to at least incapacitate one quick. Run back for the second when he need the second one gone. This is giving my boy Sans a little bit of PTSD. My boy looking at Papyrus, right? We got somebody out here dealing with a whole bunch of knives, swords, and the like. And he in this corridor. It's a dark corridor instead of a gold one this time. But he's seeing it. He's seeing it. The only difference, because he has checked Sans. I mean not Sans. He has checked Stain. The only difference is the soul type is different. That's the only difference, right? Stain is not a determination soul type. He's a justice soul type. Because I said so. But either way. But yeah, I feel like justice makes sense for him. That's the only difference. So, and even then, that's some yellow that's also in this situation. He back in the he back in the you feel me? Now does that stop Sans? No, obviously not. He about to treat Stain like he would have treated Genocide Frisk. You feel me? Hit that blue, boom to the wall, boom back to the wall, down to the floor, got the bones coming up. Stain gotta react. He didn't even peep. He didn't realize. Bones came up. My boy, he it's still Sans' turn. He summoned more bones up, right? Sending them towards Stain. He got to maneuver in between the bones, right? He get through it. He trying to slash his Sans, right? Gaster blaster in front of him, behind him, left and right. Boy barely had enough time to dodge. He got grazed. Same thing, but on diagonal, right? Jumped over, he had the same move twice. He had this boy looking like he was playing hopscotch, jumping in between these squares and triangles. You feel me? Then he had two big ones from above. My boy Stain had to back up. He said, "Oh shit, what the hell? You know, this motherfucker got some fight in him. Wait, I didn't know, right?" And when he was done with that, right, 'cause that's his whole first move. You feel me? That's his whole first move in canon in the original Undertale game. You feel me? He realized that he wasn't in the in Judgment Hall. You feel me? And this wasn't Frisk. He had to snap back to reality. You know, Papyrus was like, Sans, is you good? You feel me? And he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, bro. Let me finish this, right?" Because he in a worse mood now because he has been reminded of that. But at the same time, it's like he did mess up. He wasn't supposed to be doing all that. Now, Sans crashing out, he recovering, right? He hasn't really exerted himself to that extent at all since being here. But and he really feels like this is someone to do that on, because Thane, even just surviving that off of his first like sights of that, so many people died of that move the first time. Stain got grazed by a couple lasers, so he knows this individual is beyond, whatever he was facing in the Judgment Hall. He was, but Stain, he's less worried because he's not thinking about any of the timers that's on these people, right? He doesn't know their blood type, so he doesn't have to worry about it. So he stand up, preparing. You feel me? Grab the blade. He got it, he got it ready for the slash in motion, right? And Sans look up, kind of chuckling like. I always wonder why people never use their strongest attack first, because he mentally got to re-prepare himself, because this is a fight he can't see himself losing, but does see himself needing to try hard for. So as they rush him down, Sam's about to bring up some bones. You feel me? Well, he got some bones behind him, circling him. You feel me? But white and blue mixed together. You feel me? But he was about to block the attack until from the sky, explosions. Boom, 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 boom. My nigga, feel me? My boy Papyrus got blue back probably because Bakugo is learning how to readjust with his power when it comes to these explosions. He got to use a lot less than he thought he did, especially while he's continuously using One for All throughout its body. And he's like, "Wow, I didn't expect to see you fighting. Guess you got some backbone after all, huh, Sans?" So it's like, yeah, I think we call those spines, Bakugo. We got spines. And Papyrus is like, "Would you two stop already?" Still can't move. He'll be fine though, right? Stain, this a whole nother individual, and he already has 3 wrapped in. He can get these 2 if he can catch some blood, but he gonna need to catch some blood. And this one looks he don't know what's going on with the kids nowadays, but there must be some in the milk, the cereal, the vegetables. You feel me? Because these quirks is different right now. You feel me? But Stain ain't no. You feel me? Stain ain't no. You feel me? You gonna see it through. He got a body he needs to collect, and a kid he might need to teach a lesson to, if this isn't already good enough as a lesson. My boy Bakugo, he generated One for All throughout his body. Sans can even see the difference. He can see it in his nature. You feel me? In his physical presence. And Bakugo look over to Stain and was like, "Who are you supposed to be?" Stain, Stain is done at this point, right? He wasn't supposed to be seeing another individual show up. So he ain't even trying to talk no more. It's violence now. Whatever you thought it was, That's what it is now. I'm killing anybody and everybody in sight. Hopefully, I won't have to go that far. That's all Stain is in, right? But at the moment, he calculating. Just to cause I did skip this over real quick, just to make it known, right? The whole reason why Bakugo realized that they was over here, because ain't nobody text Bakugo, is because the he realized the crash out, right? He seen some blasters, he heard some shit going down, so he was like, oh shit, that's what I remember hearing. It must be Papyrus. He showed up. Papyrus can't move, so it had to be Sans. You feel me? Besides the point though. Now they teaming up, right? Stain, he done locked in, rush forward. Sans, he makes a little like, he basically makes his path obvious, right? He uncurved it, but he got bones up, trying from the sides and stuff, right? He tell Bakugo, if he touch your blood, you paralyzed. Don't know for how long. And when he's done saying that, Stain pop up, trying to hit him with the blades, any of the blades, all of the blades, right? Hit him with the try to slash at him the first time. It was like, if that's it, this will be over. Hit him with the push off when he dodged the first blade and the kick, because he was trying to kick him too with the spiked toes. You feel me? Spiked shoes. Hit him in the guts, right? Explosion to the back. Hit the wall. He back at it when his feet hit the floor. Jumped off the wall. Tried to go up for the overhead. Sans is allowing Bakugo to handle all of that shit. He done left. You feel me? He done picked up Native and Papyrus and Ida with the blue magic, and he done walked off. Like he keeping an eye back there, but he done walked off though, right? Stain came from the top, right? He tried to hit him with that, katana down. You feel me? Sans did put a bone in the middle of it, he had to cut through the bones first. But that gave Bakugo enough time to, use his one for all, plus his, explosion technique, which is now coming just off all of his sweat. You feel me? Just allowing him to, you know what it is. You know how it awakened in the actual anime. If you don't, then, that's okay too. Let me try to explain it. Don't know. I can't lie to you. I don't know for real. If I tried to explain it, he gets like super fast for some reason. Like it was like something happened with his quirk awakening, and it was like they had like the explosions was rainbow or something, right? The sweat, it was like more than just his palm or something like that. Yeah, he don't need to explode from just his palm, right? It's all of his sweat that can explode, and it can be it's just all over his body. I'm pretty sure. I don't fully remember though. But yes, he done zip behind Stain, hit him with the little he done, how Bakugo be doing it. He start wailing on people with the explosions, but he also getting a grasp of the one for all, right? He don't need to, like, the first couple might have been the strongest ones, but he don't need it to be that strong, right? He could keep dialing back the power and keep rapping and tapping on them explosions on him. Stain ended up, kicking him, which does cause blood to appear. But, while Stain is trying to, get the blood, because Bakugo has been training with this one for all and has realized that, it's all of his sweat and not just what he can ignite with his hands. The sweat in his blood also explodes. Well, before Stain could, hit his quirk move, right? As that happens, Stain hit the flow, right? He, got shot back, from the explosion of the blood, right? He hit the ground. But he feel like he gotta hop back up. His justice ain't over yet. You feel me? He gotta take out all the heroes, these evil heroes. He gotta take all the fake ones out. So he jumped back up, just on some animalistic stuff, right? And he really just trying to, at this point, Bakugo is the most like All Might in this situation. So he really don't want him to die. But at this point, he gonna have to, you feel me? He gonna have to leave Bakugo with a whole problem. Luckily for Bakugo, Sans called Todoroki. And Todoroki, he hit the ice, made, before Stained Blade even made connection, ice done, you feel me? It's done popped on him. He got sent back into the alley. It's like the moon is overhead. You can see clearly now. You feel me? Like the light from the moon's reflecting in the alley. And, my boy Todoroki walk up. He's like, dang, heard you might need some help. Bakugo stand up. It's like, I need your help. If Sans was fighting, then I would have. You feel me? Sans pop back. He tell him he behind Todoroki, right? He was like, yeah, I had to make sure everybody else was safe. Bakugo, like a real hero instead of some violent thug. It's like, who are you talking to? And then, my boy Papyrus walked up, was like, yeah, don't worry. We can all do this together as a team. Stain don't even know where Native is at this point. So low key, he trying to get the fuck out of here. he like, this is one too many motherfuckers. I just, hey, I know when I'm jumped. You feel me? Time for me to time for me to make a move. I'm about to get the fuck up out of here. That's what he on now, right? He was about to get violent, but now you feel like he gotta leave. Especially while they over there arguing and just talking to each other, because they for sure is still just over there talking to each other and arguing. He try to leave, right? He hit the jumps off the walls and stuff, right? Bakugo realizes that he's over there. It's like, what? Hey, where do you think you? As Stain reaches over the wall, right? He hits the top of the building, and he peeks like up against the building, right? He looks through. He's about to he's about to see the roof of the building. It's like reactionary. You feel me? It's like he couldn't even. All he could do was visually process what was happening, and he sees Sans waving at him. Gaster Blaster just opened his mouth. Explosions. Well, not explosions, but laser beams, man. He got a whole frontal brunt of that boy. He said, hit the flow. He hit, he in the position of like, you get hit in the face and you got to hit the flow, covering your face and shit. Either way, everybody recognizes the beam. Papyrus. He worked well with Sans. He understood exactly what was going on. Rush forward. Bakugo and Todoroki is kind of like confused, but if Papyrus knows what's going on, then we might as well just run in too, right? Obviously, Papyrus is fastest here. Actually, Papyrus and Bakugo will probably have to race again because Bakugo done got way faster. But besides the point, Papyrus done jumped up, hit him with the knee, lifted him up. Bakugo, right, already above him some more. Explosions to the ground. Like he just like put his palms together. Not on some Kamehameha shit. But I guess it kind of would be really more on some Masenko activities. But that's besides the point. That's on some Dragon Ball Z, You want to see me do a what if on Dragon Ball Z, just hit my line. Anyway, as he hit the ground, Todoroki set the whole little flow on fire. The only place that's not on fire is the places that he done landed, right? He ain't got nowhere else to go. Excellent support from Todoroki. Stain ain't about to be no punching bag. So they start sending out the bones and stuff. Stain grab his katana out. He starts slashing the bones. He out here acting like a wild animal. Bakugo rush in. He get grabbed, thrown into the fire. You feel me? He had to explode himself out. Todoroki caught him. He like, don't fucking touch me. You feel me? He tried to rush in again. Papyrus get down there, right? And Papyrus is one of the most All Might characters here as well. So it's like, fuck, these niggas is what's it these series? What's in the series with these kids anyway? He still gotta operate, right? Obviously, Papyrus in his last life was trained as a royal guard, so he nice with the hand-to-hand combat. He used to do this type of shit with Undyne all the time. The green souls. We can't move. put your hands up, right? So obviously, Papyrus, he got the blade out, right? Well, Papyrus don't got the blade out, but Stain swing with the blade, Papyrus put the bone up block, jump over the sweep kick, right? He get kicked, well, Stain get kicked, right, in his chest when Papyrus jumped over the sweep kick. Flames on his back, he jumped up trying to hit him with the overhead slice movements from the katana. Papyrus weave out the way, hit the move, sidestep, hit him with the clock to the chin. You feel me? my boy moving. My boy moving. He's really nice when it comes to this hand-to-hand combat. Either way, he had Bones come up, gut check him. You feel me? Just when it seemed like it was over. My boy Todoroki turned off the flames because Papyrus was in there for a while. Sans done walked out of nowhere because he started this whole shit off, but he ain't help after that. He literally made it all possible for this to happen, but that's besides the point. That boy, it seemed like that boy Stain is knocked out. Stain swipe up the blade. Papyrus barely dodge. He uses the bone as leverage, lunges at the other two kids. They gotta dodge. Sans about to catch him with the blue attack, right? Stain quickly fling out a kunai at him. Instead of the blue attack hitting Stain, it hit the kunai. This boy Stain is too nice. He's too nice mentally. But he's not nice enough. So it does surprise Sans. But Sans can slow down time. So Sans slows down time. Lunges he doesn't slow it down a lot, but just enough for him to react to it, right? Sends the kunai back to Stain, hits him in the shoulder, then makes a gaster blaster. It's like those cut things when it's like it's really like the cut situation, right? Like when Sans does an attack and it cuts to something else. That's exactly what happens, right? He caught the kunai to it's already sent back to him, and there's a gaster blaster waiting, sends it up to the sky. Ida finally, after all this time, because you know what Ida was doing. If you don't remember what Ida was doing, I wasn't about to talk about it while I was going through this fight. Fights already took a day and a half, so I wasn't going to talk about it. But he was doing the same stuff he was doing in canon when he was originally paralyzed. Thinking about his life choices and stuff, seeing his friends fight in combat. Sans did have some words to say to him when he was alone with him. You feel me? And it's just all circulating in his mind. And he's seeing how they fight, and he's seeing the teamwork. He's seeing it all. And he's like, it's like, let me just tell you what Sans would have said, right? When they was alone. Other than Native. Native would have heard this as well, but that's besides the point. Flashback kinda, because it's all happening in his head either way, right? So he listening to the words that Sans use are reverberating in his head. He's like, your brother's a grown man. He made his decisions, and he saved who he saves. Obviously he would have been like, you don't know my brother. You still got your brother. You don't understand this hatred. You don't understand this pain. You feel me? And, obviously Sans do. But, Sans didn't hit him with that. Sans was just like, no, I do understand. So much so, I convinced Papyrus to come here to help you out. Make sure that you didn't destroy yourself out of revenge. He would have put Native down at that point, and left Ida right there with him. And Ida was like, what do you know about revenge? What do you know about me destroying myself? It was like, I know that if we didn't show up here, you would have lost this fight, and probably your life. That's what happens when you try to get revenge. Heroes aren't in the vengeance business. We protect others. So if you really wanted to stop Stain as a hero, you should have gotten help a long time ago. On some shit, right? And that's my boy Sans. Obviously the eyes was blacked out on that last little part because my boy Sans. Either way, you feel me? in Dumlagata. Anyway, as these things are all echoing in his head and stuff, and he's reassociating what a hero really means to him and how it is supposed to be operated and all kinds of things. He gets the strength back in his body. He's able to move again. And as Stain gets launched up into the sky with the Gaster Blaster, and Todoroki start trying to generate ice, Ida rushes forward while Papyrus also jumps, just matching the speed of everybody involved in this super high stakes fight. As Ida kicks him in the side of his head, Papyrus socks him with the right hook, sending him to the flow. As Todoroki ice generates, catching him on the ice, as he also burns him with the flames. And Bakugo, who take it way too many steps forward, jumps up there, and because he's still trying to test that quirk, hit him with his fist, breaking through the ice. He on the floor, knocked out, as far as I understand. And they breathing heavy, panting. It was a team effort. Some helped way more than others. We all looking at Sans. But they jumped him. They jumped him on some real hero activities. The impression of Ida has from Sans, because up until this point, Ida was like, "Hey, this is a lazy fuck. I can't even respect Sans, but the teachers do, so I gotta respect the teachers." But the you feel up that was up until this point. Now seeing how Sans really moved in this dangerous critical situation, Ida is realizing that Sans might have been way more mature, grounded to reality, intelligent than he was giving him credit for, right? this was like every move that Sans made, even though he didn't go to the proper channels, was done. It was done perfectly. It was like not only did he pull up here just in case, because he had no evidence, right? He pulled up here just in case Ida decided to do some foul activities like he did. He then made sure that the people that was, injured, right? The people that was, obviously from either perspective, he's like, obviously Sans got spooked when Papyrus stopped moving. He started doing a whole lot. But once he regained his composure and Bakugo showed up, Sans made sure that the people that was, liabilities were out of the way. And then he called Todoroki. Once he was done giving Ida the pep talk. It's, he just feels like, hey, Sans done earned a whole lot of respect from Ida specifically. But yes, everybody walking out of the alleyway there and tied up, Stain, Todoroki, carrying him and all that. Ida, got his arm hurt, so we gonna let him chill. Papyrus ended up carrying Sans, Bakugo, Papyrus, they talking. Sans kind of fake sleep, kind of real sleep. He used a whole bunch of energy at the start of the fight, but obviously he could have still been fighting if he had to. But how Sans be lazy, just trying to recover a little bit of the little bit of energy they use for real. And so that's what's going on, right? Pirates carrying Sans, they kind of talking, and then Sans fall asleep. Ida and Todoroki walking out the back alley. You got Native there who's steady saying that he proud of all of them and all that. And they leave the back alley. Gran Torino show up because Endeavor sent him over there, and he see Bakugo. He's like, "What the?" Try to hit him with a swift kick to the face. But my boy Bakugo, weave. He ain't tired. He's not. He's not. He got to that fight, and he had a whole bunch of people that helped him with that fight. He had energy to spare. He dodged Gran Torino's attack, and Gran Torino come back. Hit him in the back because it's Gran Torino. He got the speed on him. You feel me? He's like, didn't I tell you to stay at the train? Over here fighting people. What's wrong with you? Bakugo's like, get off me, old man. What the? I gotta be a hero. All that. Papyrus laughing. We got other people that's laughing, right?
Sans is actually asleep at this point. He don't care what's going on at the moment. Endeavor shows up. They see, well, I guess Endeavor showed up last, right? In Ida's, the person Ida's supposed to be working under is he showed up, right? He found Ida. They seen Stain, right? It's like, dang, what happened? We got Native here. They know Native didn't do it. They know Native didn't do it, but the person that was, Ida was working under, he got a whole bunch of people. He got some heroes with him as well, right? While Endeavor is supposed to be pulling up, a flying Nomu come around. He see the one that he believes is the weakest at the moment. He snatch up Sans. You feel me? Got that boy flying off in the sky. Now Sans does feel the shift, and at any point he could, change this outcome. While everybody is watching him fly away, not knowing how they're gonna get back to him and all that. But my boy lazy a little bit. He just chilling. Bakugo is preparing to fly up there. Papyrus is preparing to jump on the Nomu and all that, right? There's a couple different obviously Gran Torino knows that if it get too high he won't be able to get to him in time, right? A couple heroes is able to get to him, right? But before all that happens, my boy Stain pops up, cut the rope, run full sprint, lick the blood off the off the woman that the blood splattered on, paralyzed the Nomu, caught him on the way down, killed the Nomu. Okay, Sans could try to handle Stain at this moment, but reading his face, obviously we are like he sees that Stain is about that action, but he's also very tired, and it doesn't seem like he's really out to take anyone out at the moment, right? Then the other heroes, they talking to each other like, dang, he saved the kids. Like, nah, he took a hostage. They about to prepare the box. Endeavor show up. He about to prepare the box, right? And that's when my boy let that speech off, talking about only person that can kill him is All Might. So I'ma stand and take out all you fake heroes. Y'all gonna have to see about me. You feel me? That's basically Stain right there. I don't know who was recording, but somebody was recording. They gonna edit it and they gonna post that online. That's just what's gonna happen, respectfully. But besides all that, while he is screaming, I'ma say just on some headcanon stuff, right? Because I don't know, they don't ever address this in the story, and Stain pops up later in the actual story, and it's still never addressed. I'ma say his quirk awakened in that moment, right? It makes complete sense for his quirk to awaken in that moment. A whole bunch, it just made sense for his shit to happen, for it to happen that way, right? Because it's like the way that it was making everybody else around him feel, especially after he got jumped in that moment. Before this, I'm gonna say his quirk awakened, and without needing to consume anyone's blood, just the fact that somebody was paralyzed, he was able to project that onto everybody else without Stain realizing it, of course. As he was yelling and as his speech was coming to an end, and as everybody was paralyzed, even though he ain't taken none of their blood, a rib punctures his lung. He passes out right there. Because that's what happens in canon. As everybody is, recoiling from the shock that they were just in, right? Realizing that they all just feared for their life in a crazy circumstance. There was so many people that could have handled him, and they all just feared for their life off one person. Besides the point, Gaster shows up. He started clapping, and my boy Gaster got words to say. You feel me? It's the man that speaks in hands. You feel me? Come on now, Gaster pull up. It's the man that speaks in hands. They all turn him as they see him clapping, and one of his hands is counting. You feel me? Like it's like going up in the motion of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All that, right? And Gaster begins to speak as he says, 12. 12 heroes, all paralyzed with fear. 7 of which pro heroes, real heroes. Very, very interesting. Obviously, this heats up Endeavor quick. He's like, who was scared? I was like, ignoring Endeavor completely. As soon as Endeavor tries to turn around to meet Gaster's already to wit Sans and the Nomu and Stain, as he got some of his hands to, restrain Stain and strip him of all his weapons as he begins to study the Nomu. And he says, that's a very interesting quirk, awakening. Able to even put the number 2 hero in a state of shock. Panic, maybe? More testing would need to be done. Because this is Gaster, man. Y'all know what Gaster be on. You feel... Besides the point, though, right? Endeavor calms down, right? Because even though Gaster is ranked lower than him, he knows where he places in terms of Gaster and strength. The only one that he thinks can handle Gaster is All Might. But besides the point, he turns back around and is like, what do you think what do you think you're doing here anyway? Showed up kind of late, don't you think? And Gaster was like, there was other things I needed to attend to. I heard the number 2 hero was here. Didn't think I'd need to rush. You feel me? You feel me? They got some kind of rivalry beef. Maybe. Who knows, right? Papyrus done ran. I was like, hey, Dad. Gaster is obviously taller than both his kids. So he pat, Papyrus on the head and stuff. It's like, good job, you two. Helping these pro heroes take out the hero killer. I can only assume great things will be in your future. The both of you. They happy, right? Samson got up because, he didn't expect his dad to be here. He was just being lazy and allowed things to get out of hand. Didn't expect it to be like this, right? Endeavor still need, he still want answers, right? He like, I asked why you're here now. The threat is already subdued. And Gaster, who now has his hands picking up the dead Nomu, says, did you know that these creatures, fuck, he's like, did you know these creatures have been restrained before? And I don't think Endeavor would have known anything about the last time with the first Nomu that pops up in the series. So he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, there was an incident at USJ. Your son didn't tell you about it? Obviously, my boy Gaster, he be, he's like, he's like, either way, it involved something that we're calling Nomus, apparently. These are relatives of that, for lack of a better word. And I've been entrusted to study them. Any and all that appear and are defeated. The one that they restrained before is still alive, but I think I can get a lot of information out of a lot of them, dead or alive. And just the way that Gaster be moving, be rubbing Endeavor the wrong way. He don't even, because he know he's not smart enough to even debate him in any kind of way. So it's just like, so you've been entrusted to it, huh? Guess that makes sense why you're here. And he leaves because he don't want shit to do with Gaster. He don't know anything about him. He don't know. Gaster really just be creeping him out most of the time. It's not. He just don't fuck with him. He just don't fuck with him, bro. That's all it is. And that's really just how it goes in that moment, right? Gaster gets the Nomu. Stain is already restrained, but plus he was knocked out already. But he goes to the proper authorities, right? He does tell his kids to probably go to the hospital, and even if they don't think they were damaged that much or if they get healed, they should at least go to the hospital for it. And which, Papyrus and Sans end up explaining why they even came out here in the first place, because he also would have been like, they could have been with him if they wanted to. I mean, he does find it interesting that they would have chosen to come all the way out here instead of, and work for this random no name hero native, rather than picking somebody that was more popular or more of standing, especially if they wanted to be number one heroes. And they would have told them what their mentality was for it. And he would have made a mental note of it, right? It's not Papyrus and Sans don't know anything about what's going on in Gasper's head, but they tell him everything about what happened to Ida and why they wanted to come, make sure that he wasn't doing nothing he couldn't come back from. And yeah, that's what they tell him. Gaster leaves. He ends up leaving, and Papyrus Sans doesn't need to. He's also in the hospital for lazy reasons. Bakugo, who I don't think really got hurt that bad. He might have been cut. He was stabbed a little bit, right? He went to the hospital. Todoroki, Ida, they was in the hospital. It's just the five of them in the room. You know, Ida stand up, apologizing for his actions and all that, right? Bakugo ain't really. He don't really care one way or the other. He was just out here trying to get the villains, or at least he. That's the kind of perception that Bakugo wants to be showed. He don't want it to seem like he really cared about anything that was going on. He was just trying to be the number one hero or whatever. Papyrus would have been like, nah, we understand, Ida. It's hard, having such things happen to your family. So we understand the grief that you was going through and what happened. We just had to make sure that you weren't going down the wrong road. Everybody in this room understands where you were coming from and can accept what you did, especially me and Bakugo. And Bakugo's like, wait, hold on, how did I get included in this? I didn't say anything. It was like, Bakugo, we all know how you feel about your friends. We know that you care about us for real. It was like, hold on. You putting a whole lot of words in my mouth. I ain't know. That's just how it works, right? Todoroki, he looking at his, the scar in his hands. He like, dang, guess this is a lesson to be learned for all of us, right? And they just on some regular school shit, kind of a little bit. Either way, while in the room, they the head of police, right, comes in and he basically just swears them to secrecy. Like, the person that's getting credit for this capture is Stain, and as long as y'all make sure y'all don't tell nobody about what happened, then I won't have to come and arrest y'all. You feel me? That's all that's going on. He was pretty serious about it, but everybody in the room was equally as serious, and they agreed, except for Sans. He's like, man, can't you throw us a bone? Papyrus is about to throw him out the window, but that's besides the point. But no, he explains further how serious the situation is. Like, obviously they ain't got any hero license. This could basically just sue them into oblivion, or this could just it'd be terrible for the Hero Association if this like little field trip turned into some bullshit. But other than that, they they good. They can, all they gotta do is make sure they don't tell nobody. They all got sworn to secrecy. They living. Just looking at everybody else that's on their field trip thing that they doing, right? Obviously Mama out there with Kendo, they doing the beauty thing with old girl Uraraka doing the same thing with Gunhead, learning and all that, right? But yeah, everybody else doing all the things that they were supposed to be doing in canon, right? Char and Frisk, they out there with Best Genius, and my boy Best Genius has been over these couple of days that have gone by, he's learned a lot about Frisk and Char. Not like, anything about their past or anything, but just how they feel, right? How they, like, just on some real, like, I'm paying attention type stuff, right? And he's adjusted his behavior to better correspond and match their energy. Just to be in a better position to teach them for real. And like, even though after any patrol, their hair could get messy, or they just stop caring about how they look over time. uh you know like, he was there for Bakugo. He'd be, especially Char, 'cause this happens a lot for Char, a lot more than it would happen to Frisk. But he's showing a compassion to the both of them that they really needed, right? Especially Char, because like I said before, Frisk leans more to helping monsters, but she's more fair with the how she perceives monsters and humans. Like, she understands that it's really just good and bad on both sides, and she lucked out with finding out a whole bunch of good monsters when she entered the underground. Chara, who understandably lived there a lot longer than Frisk did, she don't see it that way. But because of Best Genius, she's understanding, like, even though this world is on some bullshit, just like her last one, like, and humans are still humans and are consistently fucking each other over, they might not it might not be as bad to, you know it might not be as terrible as she initially fathomed, right? Like, maybe she was taking out some of her last trauma onto these humans, right? Because no matter how much she decided to try to push Best Genius away, he was always there, and he didn't treat her any differently every time. You feel me? No matter how disrespectful it got. So she decides that she's gonna try a little bit to understand them as well, which is the reason why she calls Sans, who's in a hospital. Obviously he got a you feel me? He leave. You feel me? Because he got a call, and so Sans on some goofy shit. He would answer the phone like this, seeing nails from Char. Like, so that's what we doing? Sneaking off, calling each other now? Like, you gotta be careful. Anybody that start thinking we in a relationship, just start seeing some shit like this. Char, who's easily flustered, she's like, "Can you shut the fuck up for 5 seconds, please? Damn." I only called you because I wanted to tell you was right. And Sans was like, "Yeah, I'm normally right, but you're gonna have to be a little bit more." It's like, "Yeah, well, I'm normally right, so you're gonna have to be a little bit more specific." And Char's like, "You were right about the not being my enemy thing." And Sans, who's now really trying to think about what the fuck he was talking about when he said that shit, because it's been a minute, and he does eventually remember. She's talking about back in the tournament, right, with the different classes and all that, right, where he's told her that these niggas, that they're not her enemy. Like, even though, like, even though they was on opposition, just on some character development, on some character growth, right? It's like, yo, like, I understand, like, you went through some crazy shit back in the day. None of the people here was here for that. No, none of the people here were there for that, right? You're fine for the moment. That's what he was trying to get the point across to her, and she heard him, but she wasn't feeling him, because nobody around had really, other than like the kids that was there, but she doesn't necessarily even count the kids as far as she's considered. But she does, but they do. Their weight is there as well. Their presence is there. But after dealing with Best Genius, she wanted to tell him that that he was right. That maybe she was tripping a little bit. And Sans, who is genuinely glad, because he still doesn't know if he believes them on that, neither of them could have did that shit, the genocide shit. But he is glad to see that maybe the worst person can change. Maybe. So, he's like, obviously, he started laughing, and, he about to low key try to, like, open up his heart too on some, like, I'm kind of glad that you told me this because I was feeling this way. But before he could do that, Char asked, like, where are you? Because she hearing shit in the background that sound kind of like a whole lot of moving and shit. Like, it was like, what agency is this nigga go to for all that shit to be happening? You feel me? And Sans is like, oh, I'm in a hospital right now. And Chara, off of all of her memories of knowing what the fuck Sans is on and what that nigga capable of, she's like, sure, you're in a hospital. All right. And he was like, wait, no, I'm really in a hospital. He's like, yeah, right, Sans. Come on now. Why he trying to like explain what the fuck is going on? Charles like, yeah, I know you always right. And this, that, and the third. Shut up. I'm about to hang up now. I gotta leave. You feel me? Because Char don't want to hear none of that shit. It's like, yeah. I know you and your hysterics. You feel me? You trying to make fun. I'm not here for it, nigga. I just want to let you know that you might have been right. Appreciate you for helping me. I'm gone. Hang up in his face. He look at his phone like, ain't that about a bitch? Well, because he ain't got he shit. He ain't got to explain shit no more, I guess. I mean, he wanted to at the time, but it'll be fine, he guess. And yeah, obviously Sans go back to resting. And he into the room, was like, obviously Bakugo, because all this time he been, getting hassled and ridiculed and played with by Sans. He's like, who's on the phone? Because that's the whole reason why Sans left in the first place, right? He heard a beat. He, everybody in the room heard his phone buzzing, and then he teleported out the room. My boy Sans don't get caught slipping. It was like, yeah, it was your mom. She was trying to make sure we was good while we was in the hospital. It was like, what? You told her? It's like, no, obviously it wasn't your mom. But you feel? And they all playing, they laughing, right? Sans get the idea to, take a picture of the situation of them all being in the hospital. And he sends it to Char to let her know that he wasn't lying. Even though both Frisk and Char know that he a liar. Just off of it. But that's besides the point. Yeah. Shit. I mean, other than that, they all going through their little they work study. Right? Sue, Azriel, Undyne. They over there with that seal nigga. They learning, right? They working. They getting some real experience in the field. Shit start popping off over there like it did in canon. Undyne want to get into the field, want to get into the action, want to, be out there with the seal. The seal don't want them out there. So they own defense, basically. Azrael, who's the most out of his element, he's still putting up points, right? He's still, able to do shit, right? You got Flowey. They, they out there, right? There was a boat that went missing or some shit that some niggas attacked. They was out there, right? I mean, the whole system for this evil plan was fucked as soon as Undyne, Azrael, and Sue was a part of it. You feel me? They found a secret boat. Sue was over there at one point. They jumped the fuck out of the octopus cracking person, took them niggas to jail. And yeah. Other than that, Gran Torino did call All Might about basically about what was going on, what Gaster said, right? About the Nomus. How, seems like they was just a whole bunch of quirks forced into them, about how it mutated their bodies, and a whole bunch of different, more detailed explanation of what's going on. Gaster, he probably got the way to he probably found every individual person that was in a Nomu before, he expresses how it is put together, what parts of they quirk, how they was made like this, a whole bunch of stuff, right? Because you know how it is. And Gaster, being one of the few heroes to actually know who All For One is and about the connection between All Might and All For One,
would have told Gran Torino, and Gran Torino would have told All Might. And Gran Torino was like, hey, you should probably tell Bakugo about this shit. So work study comes and it goes. They all did their internship. Some of them learned a little bit, about themselves. Some of them got a little bit stronger. Some of them, just got some experience. Obviously, Undyne, she done proved herself to the Seal Dude. Seal Dude, like, hey, I was low key doubting you, but you nice with the hands, right? Even Azrael, right? Azrael was like, you good with the with your quirk. You really know what you're doing, right? Sue as well, right? She know how to, really do what she do to, save the day. You feel me? Either way, everybody go to the school, right? They going back home, Bakugo. He said by the Gran Torino and all that. Thanks and everything else about it. Gran Torino wasn't really feeling it at the time, but Bakugo was like, look, you helped. You helped me in my goal of trying to be the number one hero. That's why I'm thanking you. Didn't matter how the internship went or not, In Gran Torino, he like, you know what? You gonna be one of them one day, boy. You gonna be one of them one day. And that's that's how it goes, right? They all go back to the school. Some of them, obviously, there's some people in the classroom that's a little bit more quiet about what they learned, or at least a little bit about, what happened in their internship, sworn to secrecy. Obviously, Sans ain't got this problem he can tell them about. Obviously, he's not going to tell them about Stain or nothing like that, but he'll tell them about anything respectfully. It's like, yeah, we was with Native. We did a whole bunch of bullshit. He ain't the best hero to be 100, But we was with him. He ain't nothing too crazy to pop off, which is Bakugo realizing that Sans is a really good liar, like a really good liar. Ida as well, but normal stuff was going on. They did some kind of race thing, for the day. Isero, Mina, Ojiro. I want to say Ida was there too, and Bakugo, right? Bakugo, who's about to show off his his little quirk awakening / one for all plus his quirk activated. Obviously, he the fastest one there. He get there quick, faster than anybody else. Not even a competition. And first place for him. All Might's like, good job, boy. Also got to see you real quick, right? So, they go into the one of the offices at the end of the day. And, All Might tells Bakugo about All for One. And everything about what happened, a lot about his origin, and a lot about, what he knows of All for One. And how that related to One for All. And, as, Bakugo is, kind of, he ain't getting overwhelmed with it, but he is also like, this is a normal person. This is a child at the end of the day, right? Yeah, he had One for All to be the number one hero, but now he hearing that he got an arch nemesis that's damn near immortal. You feel me? And it's been around for centuries. He ain't no, he ain't no big, but this is looking a little overwhelming for just the one of them. That's until Papyrus and Sans come into the room. It's like, yeah, that's a crazy little arch enemy you got there. They've been listening outside during the whole time, because they already knew about this whole shit anyway. They ain't about to get cut out of it. You feel me? Like, come on now. We've been with you the whole time, Bakugo. We said that you should probably, take this quirk, man. Come on now. You think we about to leave you high and dry to Mr. All for One quirk? Mr. Take a nigga quirk? Nah, bro. We got you. Especially on some Papyrus shit, right? And my boy motivated again, right? He's like, man, I don't even need y'all help. I'm gonna get stronger, and I'm gonna take him out myself, on some shit. That's my boy Bakugo. And they miss him. They, poking fun at each other and all this other stuff, right? All Might happy to see somebody with One for All to have this kind of relationship with people. Like these some real friends that know his struggles and are still cool with him. Like All Might didn't necessarily have nobody. You know, it was just him and his teacher, but to have actual people that are strong, maybe not with as much potential as him, but willing to go there for him, he happy to see it. They all go home, you know, end of the day and stuff. And, you know, obviously that video I was talking about with Stain has been spread all over the spot. Whole bunch of different villains that want to see some. You know, obviously we got Toga, Spanner, Dobby, maybe some new villains, maybe some old villains. You know, just you know, anyway. Yeah, that's what happened this episode. You know, appreciate y'all for watching. I don't know what I'm gonna call it. It's gotta be something though. But either way, you know, getting the word, man. Get to know God. What's that one song? If you ain't at peace with God, you gotta patch it up. You know, I don't know where the world going at this point in time with these Epstein lists and everything else. You feel me? But you know, it's seeming more and more like the end of the days, end of the world. And we'll see just on some, you know, just make sure you prepare for it is all I'm saying. God bless and have a great day, man. Have a great day.